It's amazing how the workflow in Blender seamlessly go over from creating your 3D model, doing all the CAM operations, and then driving your CNC machine. It's absolutely amazing. So what you can see here is a nice animation I've done with Blender as well. So it just grips the cutter here and do the rest with copy locations. Pretty easy. I will do a separate video on this, but actually this is just a gimmick. It's not needed somehow. Normally you have some kind of views that more looks like this one. So you see the end um, or the cutter here, which is actually driving the CNC powers, and you can see how it's working. Let's start with actually what you need to do and how it's working. So for the first, actually go back here and disconnect my CNC for the moment. Go to CAM, and everything starts here. So I have my bunny. This is here. Actually, if you're taking a look on the workspace, and this is actually BlenderCAM specific, you need to position it somehow in your space, and afterwards you can actually map it when the path is ready to one of the actually working coordinates that you want to use. Um, I start here typically, let's do the work BlenderCAM. For this, actually, I have my cat bunny. I need to give it a name, a file name, of course. Sources objects is default, so just go for bunny. This is the right one. The next thing I need to go is the strategy, which is profile cutout. This is fine. Outside, which is set by default. So most things you don't need to change. For the use layers, typically it makes sense to have the same cutter size as layer height. So I use this one. The free movement is not very necessary in this kind, so you can optimize it. If you have a lot of traveling or free traveling, you can reduce it so that you stay as close as possible of the object and reduce actually travel time. Um, so next one is actually how depth it will go. You have different possibilities: object, material, and custom. Object means that you actually go directly the size of the object, and does a lot enough layers to actually cut through the given object. You could also use the material settings. You can give it a material and say, okay, my material is 25 millimeters, and use this one. I can do this as well. So for example, here, and go to the material. So it's estimated, but actually I can say, okay, my material size is this, and this, and maybe I have here 25. It's currently not shown, but actually this would be the material, and so he would try to fill it with all of this until it's completely done. So I don't do this for the moment. I just say, okay, estimate, and for here I go for the object. So this actually means I will have exactly like the object describes a curve. Um, as mentioned, free movement height. You can actually reduce this one. Oh, it's two times here. Nice, interesting. I don't know why. I think it would change. Yeah, it's the same. No, it's not my plugin, so I'm sorry for that. Um, then of course you can actually control the feed rate. I'm here with 1,000 millimeters per minute, which is fine for actually what I want to do. Um, Next is actually the diameter of my cutter, which is 3 millimeters. It's absolutely fine. And then you can have actually some settings on your machine. Actually, the work area is pretty important also for Blender GBRL, but it's loading the same information from the machine itself and creating here the machine 0 point. Yeah, so it's not related to Blender CAM, but actually to the settings you actually see in your machine when you type in um, dollar dollar. So there you get actually a couple of options that you can modify, so you know it. Otherwise, just Google it. Um, and these settings are actually used to calculate the mission 0 point and all the other information that comes from the CNC, and actually bring it to the visual 3D space so that you can actually see on what's ongoing and where it is ongoing. So now with my bunny. Um, everything set as needed, I go to calculate parse and export G code. And when I do this, you actually see, okay, it's moving directly around this. You can see if it's fine or not. And when you say, okay, it's fitting my needs, um, you can assign it to one of actually this working coordinates. And this is pretty easy. So the ones that you actually will use, this is here in this setting. Just let's have a look. So all you need to do to make it shown correctly is as a parent, you show this correct working point, and then you see how it's actually placed and how the CNC machine will work. Um, so these are actually the most important steps for now. I hide this one as well and go over and show my pretty cool CNC simulation here, um, which actually shows the current state. So going back to here, I choose Eve because it's looking nicer if I can go to material preview, which is not possible when you use as CAM as a render engine. Then you have the solid view, so I can show how it looks here. It's not very cool, but actually you can go to solid if you want. And solid does a job, so you can see it, but actually it's not looking that fine. And I love to have some nice looking things here. So I will go to material preview. Everything else is the same, it's just how it's rendered, and that's it. And normally you don't need Blender. So also if you are actually milling, it's not an issue to switch it. It's just some kind of viewport setting, that's it. So for now I would connect, and the next thing is actually unlock so that everything's available, update the working points so that you can actually see it, and then send the Blender file and you see how it's working. Pretty nice, isn't it?